Oh boy, do I absolutely despise and hate the shootouts. Uh, Honestly, didn't even realize I was only the second one of the year. First one coming back in game two. Maybe this season has been so the whole entire time I forgot how long it's been since we had to go through that absolute awful bit of hockey that is the shootout. Please extend the 3v3 by another 5 minutes. I don't know, bring back a different point system, that anything to just get rid of the shootout. It's just not enjoyable for anyone. You win it, sure. You lose it, it's like it was a shootout, doesn't even count. Obviously, it does, but we got a loser point out of it, sure. But we are inching closer and closer to that mathematical situation that, while not happening quite yet, feels almost inevitable as the New Jersey Devils lose in the shootout to the Nashville Predators of an overall score of 3-2. Started off really good. Feeling pretty great. They came back, tied it up. Then we got absolutely handed one, and then the game didn't play out quite as we wanted. Uh, yeah. Overall, Nashville's a very good team. I felt like the Devils played overall quite decently. The third period kind of got away from us again a little bit. Wasn't a complete collapse as some of the past others have been, but it was an all right period. I felt like both teams had a fairly choppy game. Wasn't super physical, but passes weren't very clean. High danger chances from both sides that were not plentiful. Neither goalie had to make any insane type saves. Again, just keeping it with that, NHL level mindset of there are going to be good chances, there are going to be some great chances, a lot of low quality stuff, but I didn't feel like either team had any of those insane premier stuff. Even the goals that went in, I didn't think were anything bonkers. Where we started off, we had a amazing pass from Luke over to Jack. Jack was just given so much space that he's able to skate in, speed backed off the defender, and he beat Soros top cheese. So it was somewhat savable. A very great shot. You've heard me react to these all the time. It was top cheese shots are very difficult to save, but it's not. Jack's shot is not ripping into the hundreds or anything like that. Uh, he's not, blowing the puck past a goaltender typically. He's more so fainting with his body is probably the best way I would put it. Jack's talked about it before in some off-season interviews he's done, but he is very good at feinting his shot with his body, release points, all that stuff. So in that sense, maybe that was our best shot of the night, the one that did end up going in, but 1-0 Devils right up there on the jump. Uh, it's Jack Hughes, man. What is there to say? He's not even playing at 100%, and he is still basically always the best player on the ice, even now. And when he, comes back healthy, hopefully for a full season. Luke, with another year under his belt, is just growing and growing. I felt like a pretty good start to the year. He did dip a bit more in the middle, and now he's been on such an insane stretch. My gosh, just an insane run by Luke here. I cannot watch to wait those two connect for years and years to come. From there, Yossi does tie the game up about, I don't know, 5-ish minutes later or so. Nothing too crazy. I don't even think it was too bad on the Devils. Now, maybe Kokkonen was thrown off a bit by the Nico play, where Nico got sniped from the rafters, loses an edge all on his own, goes crashing into Kokkonen, hits the post himself. Nico seemed to be much more shaken up from that compared to Kokkonen, but Nico continued playing on. Kokkonen did as well. The very next shift only lasted a few seconds as Nashville had a very strong set play off of the faceoff. They win the faceoff. They crash the middle by getting the puck back to Yossi in the middle of the blue line. Yossi absolutely drills it through. Now, on the one replay, it did look like it hit Kokkonen kind of on the inner left thigh. So maybe it just absolutely stung, hit it just right, and was, a full leg numbness type situation. And actually had nothing to do with the Nico play beforehand. Maybe they were tied a bit there as the game becomes tied, but puck does squeeze through. I mean, if that play did stun him. He did still try and spin around and make a play. So if he pushed himself through that pain to still look for the puck, credit to him there. But the moment that puck was in, that man was down and clearly in some crazy discomfort. So hopefully he is doing well and can come back healthy. Hopefully nothing too serious again. I think this was more so just a very bad stung leg numbness. Should be able to walk that one off. But again, one replay. I'm no doctor or anything like that. So hopefully good news coming out of the team tomorrow from him. But Allen comes in relief, and I felt put on a very, very strong game. Now, the second period was pretty much a snooze fest for the most part, I felt like. But we did eventually, coming into, I think it was the third period, right? Yeah. We ended the second there with 3 seconds on the power play off of that bonkers Nico into the shift, just skating through the zone, drawing the penalty. Shout out to my boy there. Starting off the third period, yes, you get the fresh sheet of ice, but you don't have the in-zone face-off, which I think is probably more critical. As we saw there on that power play, we could not get a clean zone entry and establish any sort of possession from it at all on that. And so it was a pretty meticulous kill there by Nashville. Nothing comes from it. It's like not looking good for another third period to start. And then Brother Saros hands us one. Basically leaves the puck for one of his defenders there. Nosek, right? Very positive it was Nosek there. Absolutely comes barreling in, steals the puck, pass it right up front, and Tierney is able to squeeze it through Soros, who is still trying to kind of gather what was happening there on that play. And it felt like we kind of, not just felt like, we did get handed one there a bit. Obviously, you have to execute. Took a drive there from one of our guys to still steal the puck away, make a great pass, and you had to finish it past the goalie that was right there. There was not a ton of room there below the arm, but he found that small spot and the puck squeezes through. And that was really where I'd say most of the crazy positives ended in the third period. Then it was just kind of some flunky plays. The ball penalty, thankfully we technically killed that one off, but then Nemec right at the very tail end of it bats the puck out of midair. It goes over the glass. By the rules, that is the penalty. We've seen it before. I know Bill and Dana weren't saying, it doesn't happen often. I've actually seen that happen an okay amount across the NHL. So clearly it's not something where they feel like that needs a rule change. Where, sometimes you'll see an absolute marginal type play, which by the letter of the law is a penalty, but they'll come back and change it because that wasn't really the intention of the letter of the rule. In this case, I've seen that play, puck batted out of midair over the glass enough that that's a penalty. It just is what it is, unfortunately. Now it goes to the box. Starts off as a 5-on-3, which I do think factored into it a little bit as ball comes storming back in. Basically, as he gets back into the penalty kill, puck is shot on net. Allen does make the save. Absolutely lost in the mess of it. It trickles right back out to a Nashville player who does need to make, again, a very nice top shelf shot, but there's a lot of room there. Allen did not see or react to that with any enough time. Nashville ties it up. And then from there, I do feel like we didn't give up a ton of chances, but it was close a few different times. We did get up going to overtime. I felt like we looked pretty good in overtime. We did take, the Luke Hughes penalty, what I thought was a good penalty to take. You could not let that puck across, whatever you got to do to stop it. Shout out to Luke. Good penalty taken there. And then kill off the penalty, and then the shootout is whatever, who cares? It's the worst part of hockey. So, yeah, it's really going to do it. Individual guys in this one. Again, I felt like Smith had another pretty decent stretch game here. Would have liked to have seen some more offensive juggernaut out of him, but that was not to be. Hallinan got brought in for this one. I did not see anything I hated at all. Felt like he had a pretty strong showing here. So that was also nice to see. We got technically depth scoring. Was it handed to us? Yeah, sure, but it was there. And no Nico or Timo point. There's a couple games now with no Timo point. So I actually do feel like this was probably one of his weaker showings there. And so I've liked his game in a few before this one. Wasn't really blown away or impressed too much with his game here today. I thought Nico played well even without the point. Bratt did get a point. Bratt and Jack do just magic on that line with, I feel like you could almost throw anyone on that line, but Hollis seems to complement it well. Depth didn't cost us the game by any means at all. Same with the defense. Just kind of, DeSimone Luke seem to be meshing really, really well. I don't think that'll be a pairing next season, but hey, it is doing fantastically, so keep it rolling there. Siegenthaler, I felt like has kind of gotten his groove back a little bit here in this one. I thought it was a decent game from him as well. Again, that the first goal was just a very good set play by Nashville that happened to trickle through, and then the power play goal. And then it's a shootout, so it's whatever. So yeah, even winning today, that math was not looking great. Yeah, we still got 1 point, but we would need like 4 teams to collapse here in the last 4, and for us to basically win it out. So it's possible, still possible, and I'll keep rooting for it. But like I said, there are some teams that are still got to play each other, so there's no way for all the teams to just lose out. I know Penguins and Islanders play each other. Unless some things change, it's got to be Islanders in this one as they hold the Metro third spot. We're now gunning definitely for that wild card too, and so just kind of hoping those other teams somehow magically bomb out here. But yeah, that's gonna do it. Only 4 games left to react here to. Hopefully more, probably not more, but hopefully. So that's gonna do it for tonight. Until the next one, guys. As always and forever, let's go Devils.